We begin with the drama that's now hanging over the Supreme Court confirmation process and the question everyone is asking, which is, will she testify? Professor Blasey Ford, the woman accusing the nominee, Judge Brett Kavanaugh, of having sexually assaulted her 36 years ago, has a difficult choice to make this morning. She and her attorney wanted an FBI investigation before she appeared before Congress. It is pretty clear now that they won't get it, but Congress offering to accommodate her in a number of ways. So what happens now? She's got a choice to make, because if she doesn't notify Grassley's office by 10 a.m. tomorrow morning that she's coming, then she's not allowed to come. That's just procedure in the Senate. And this has become a partisan fight like all the Supreme Court confirmation hearings do. You know, back in the day, it used to be if the nominee was qualified, they'd get on board the court, whether they were left or right. Now you get savaged, no matter who you are.
If you get a hearing at all.
Yeah, I mean,
Merrick Garland didn't get his.
Right, good point.
Right.
Right, maybe he would have liked to have been put through his paces.
Yeah.
So what happens now? Because Blasey Ford is in the middle of this, and so is Brett Kavanaugh, and they're completely dividing on ideological grounds.
Yeah, I keep coming back to the opinion piece that Anita Hill did in the New York Times earlier this week. And she made the point that the fact that the Judiciary Committee doesn't have an existing protocol to field sexual harassment and sexual assault complaints is, decades after she herself was required to testify, in the midst of the Me Too movement, is pretty outrageous. And we're seeing the terrible ramifications of that.
But can I tell you something? I think Dianne Feinstein bears a lot of the blame here, because this woman found a way to come forward, and Dianne Feinstein buried it.
Well, I think that speaks, though, to why there should be a protocol, something that is handling these type of issues on the front end. If a woman steps forward and says, "I have an allegation," should she be able to make that anonymously? The person, if there's one person on the committee,
the reason you need a process, first and foremost, is so that women feel like they have a place to go. So Blasey Ford found a way. She did find a way.
Well, did she, though?
Yes, but why wouldn't Dianne Feinstein say, at least anonymously, to Brett Kavanaugh when she met with him one-on-one, "I've received a serious allegation. I need to raise it with you."
Because the woman didn't want to come forward.
She didn't have to name her, Dan. She didn't have to name her.
I think, and I could be wrong about this, but I think that part of the conditions of her coming forward to anonymously tell Feinstein is that she didn't want to be brought up and brought through the ringer that she's going through now.
Think of what you're saying. Think of what you're saying. So I just want to let you know that I've been harassed. You can never mention it to anybody.
I agree.
You can't mention my name. You can't mention it anonymously. That's clearly not what Christine Ford
wanted. But that's a different issue. That is the issue of whether what she was asking for was a reasonable ask. I mean, the issue is also, is there some sort of system in place that's put in place to take these accusations and investigate them anonymously? The first biggest problem is the fact that it leaked. Her name leaked.
The Democrats leaked it.
But the
Democrats leaked it.
So we don't know
they
that.
Outed her.
Listen,
they're the ones who had her name.
But listen, the other real important issue here is that the reason that they're turning to the FBI, in part, that, not politics aside, is to find a body that can look at this outside of this political process in a way that is complete and fair.
It's not going to happen.
And that's exactly what Anita Hill, that was the other point that Anita Hill made, which is to say, listen, okay, let's face the fact there hasn't been an existing protocol in place to make sure these things are handled fairly. But now we're at this point and moving forward, it's incumbent to have an independent body field this information.
It would be great to have something put in place, but there isn't. And Trump's point is that the FBI's job is to do national security background checks on the nominees, and they've done 6 of them. In the Anita Hill hearing, President Bush did order the FBI to do an additional investigation. But I understand President Trump's point, too, which is that's not really their jurisdiction. No federal crime has been alleged here. This happened 36 years ago.
Let's just take a step back.
And let me just finish say one other point, and I'll give you the floor. She will get a process. Whether there was an FBI investigation or not, she would have to submit to testimony before the senators. This is not about a criminal investigation. It's about the Senate's duty to advise and consent. They're in charge of what would help them make that recommendation.
Let's take a step back and think about what that means. The real pickle that Dr. Ford is in right now is that the Senate is not an investigatory body. The Republicans have now set up a situation where it will only be a he said, she said, because they will not have any other witnesses who are relevant to this. If there's an independent investigative body, they can go out and interview both the two people.
They're not solving crimes, Dan.
but they're trying to figure out whether this guy deserves to be on the
trying to
Supreme
figure out
Court.
what do we need at this point to figure out our advice and consent duty. And they have said this is what we need. Her to testify first and foremost, and then him to be subjected to cross-examination. Even Susan Collins even offered to have each party's respective counsel cross-examine the other.
Why would you not have testimony from Mark Judge? If this is a legitimate inquiry to find out the truth, why would you not have testimony
Bring
from
Mark
the other
Judge
person?
Great, I'm in favor of more.
So the reason that she's reluctant to go forward is that this is a political circus. She is going to be taken through the ringer.
Whenever you inject
and it's going to be
yourself,
a he said, she said.
You're never going to get rid of that. You're never going to get rid of the political nature of this in a Supreme Court confirmation
hearing. Of course,
hearing.
but you
ever.
could have an independent. It doesn't have to be the FBI.
You think she's not going to give testimony before the Senate, even if the FBI investigates this?
But why not bring in
witnesses?
Why not bring in
She
witnesses?
said she would.
Right, but my point is, do you think she's going to be able to avoid
but then
the
it's not
partisan
just a he
show
said,
that this
she
is?
said. Of course,
yes,
it's always
going to be a
partisan.
part. You think the FBI is going to come out and say she's telling the truth?
No,
but they're going to
that's not what
have
being asked.
interviews of all the other people. They're going to investigate and figure out whether there are other people who have relevant information.
And that's fine with me. But the point is, she at this point is refusing to testify at all
Because
unless she gets to dictate the process. But you have to understand. All right, listen, I'll bring you in. You have to understand. Christine Blasey Ford, who I want to testify. I've said publicly she should. And I actually think she would find it a very empowering exercise. And I think she'll regret it to the day she dies if she doesn't do it.
And she's not saying that she won't testify. She's just asking for this independent gathering of information.
But she's not in charge of the U.S. Senate. Megyn, she's not in charge of the U.S.
herself,
Senate.
and this is very difficult
But there's
for
a
her.
process, Dan. You know, women who are sexually assaulted don't want to go into federal court and testify at all. They don't want to be cross-examined by the U.S.
I know.
And right. And you know what? They do it. And they cannot say to the judge, it'll be under my terms.
They don't do it in a week after coming out, I'll tell you.
That's Dianne Feinstein's fault.
But you're also making up the rules as you go. I mean, this is not a situation. This goes back to the fact that there aren't hard and fast guidelines for dealing with this. So you're just saying she shouldn't make up the rules, but we're now looking at, like, are the Republicans on the committee making up the rules? Are the Democrats on the committee making up the rules?
No, the Republicans are handling it.
But what's the rush?
They're in charge.
What's the rush?
That is a question that is partisan. Both sides are treating this. Dianne Feinstein had these allegations for a month plus. Why didn't she bring it up earlier? Because she wanted delay, because they're trying to push this to after the midterms. The same reason the Republicans don't want to look into it.
Delay it for a week, 2 weeks. They're not going to get another nominee through before the election one way or another. Delay it a week or two. They still have plenty of time if it is borne out. And then you move on.
But you know very well what's happening. The Democrats are trying to delay it until after the midterms, and the Republicans are trying to rush it through.
But both Brett Kavanaugh and Blasey Ford deserve some kind of independent analysis of this case that includes witnesses, their testimony, and they're not getting it.
I'm all in favor of an independent investigation, but I also think the Senate can do it. The Senate has been doing it for a long time, and yes, they have, Dan.
Investigated?
They're going to ask questions of the witnesses. That's all they need to do. This is not a criminal investigation. It's advise and consent. That's their only obligation.
If we go back to 1991 and the way that they treated Anita Hill, I mean, is that
They've offered to do it in private, Megyn. They've offered to do it behind closed doors and let her attorney do the questioning and his.
I think that's deceptive. I think the sort of framing it as we'll do it in public or we'll do it in private. You're still talking about people basically Republican or Democratic political figures doing the questioning.
It's a Supreme Court nomination hearing. It's going to be in the political setting. All right, our panel's coming back.